bonding more.
This would be a motion to amend the motion.
I mean, if I'm understanding the question, you really want to amend the wording of the third line in the motion, you know, with any remaining costs, you want to propose an amendment that instead of being funded through issue of municipal notes or something else, so.
Remaining costs coming from reprioritizing of capital projects and or general fund use or other, I don't know what the word is, but existing funding that's, or,
I
that we haven't spent in 2017.
need specific proposed where you plan to get the funds and where you're coming from.
So you could, if you want to amend that specific item number 3.
Propose.
You could propose it and then do it, move it on, but make sure we have
Is
it
there a-
in there, we can get it into the minutes.
Is there a way to go ahead and approve the ones that we may agree on and then get more information from Dan on the Sheffield option, so we know what their sewage, I mean, I don't feel comfortable proposing that and not hearing from the deputy director.
Well, the other thing you can do is argue that you should not vote for the control motion for.
I do want to put more money towards alleys. I mean, my goal would be to allocate more, and that's what I said in the season 2, being consistent, but I just, there's got to be a way that we reword it so we don't, the intent is to fund these without bonding additional for 300,000.
Let's hear from Mark.
Again, if I understand you correctly, I think a solution to that would also be that if you were to authorize the motion as approved, and then as a board disallow projects that have already been authorized, those funds then go into reserves, which will be applied to next year's bonding and have the same impact.
But that might not happen. So if I voted to fund it through municipal bonds and then the board decided, you know, the majority that they didn't want to reprioritize,
Okay.
right,
Okay.
then it wouldn't go to the bottom line.
Yeah. I mean, the challenge for staff recommendations, it's a this year project, and we need to fund it this year,
Right.
and we can't, so yeah. Thank you.
I'll propose an amendment to the third sentence of the, bond proceeds to remaining costs to be funded through repurposing of $100,000 for the resurfacing of Sheffield project, and the remaining $225,000 to be reprioritized from parks improvements scheduled for 2015.
But those two don't add up to the 740,000.
I'm just talking about the remaining 335.
So that's the increase for the, we're just,
I'm just amending the one sentence and the remaining.
okay.
Bonding for the park improvement, that's other bonding, that's not general funds. That's just other bond. You're saying you want to eliminate you actually want to eliminate the project.
What, the parks
Sheff-
improvements?
Yeah,
Sheffield or the parks improvements?
both, Sheffield.
Yes.
You do not want to research.
Right, I would rather see that money put towards alleys than resurfacing Sheffield. And since we do not have any requests from the Parks Commission at this time, I would say that money would be better put towards alleys.
Well, it isn't the reason we don't have requests from the Parks Commission. It's just not the right point in the calendar for them to have come forward with those requests. They did come forward at the right time when we were making a long-term plan and said, here are some ideas. And we put them into the plan after a considerable amount of consideration and deliberation. And we approved that long-term plan. And now to say, well, you haven't come back and told us exactly what those dollars are. Well, they haven't told us what they need those dollars are. We haven't asked them to do that because it isn't their time in the schedule, because that's the next budget period. So I'm somewhat hesitant to be taking now, back pulling items that were balanced out and studied, to whatever extent they studied, and agreed to to patch together something to fill in our alley request. I am in favor of accelerating our alleys. You've said a number of times you're interested in visiting the capital reserves discussion and
General reserve.
excuse me, the general reserve discussion. And again, I will repeat what I said last time, and that is, I agree. I am also interested in revisiting that. But I don't want to have that discussion within the context of needing to make a decision now on what alleys we need to go out to contract to in the next couple of weeks to be able to be doing construction this year.
But are you okay with issuing additional debt and having that additional debt service? I mean, that's making a change in a funding decision also. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah, I do. I do know what you're saying. But it's not taking away
Right.
something we've already said, yes, we're going to do.
Right, I
Um,
understand.
Our village clerk needs you to repeat. She doesn't quite have down the,
So you're striking through the issuance of municipal notes and inserting through repurposing of $100,000 from something with Sheffield, and I didn't catch all the words.
Sheffield Road Programmers.
Sheffield Road Program? Is that what you said?
Is that relevant? Don't use my words.
Pavement management.
Then any remaining costs should be funded through the repurposing of $100,000 from the Sheffield overlay project and $225,000 from,
You said to be reprioritized from.
from park improvements for 2018, 2019, and the long-range financial plan.
Leanne, you had something?
I believe the 2017 capital budget includes an allocation of $175,000 for a mill and overlay program, of which Sheffield is one of the road segments identified. I would suggest that to reduce that program level to $75,000 will be a very small and very expensive program. So my recommendation would be you either fund it at its 175 entirety or you eliminate it altogether.
Isn't there money in the DPW budget, just sort of general money for road maintenance that's not allocated to a specific project?
Yes.
How much is that?
It's more of a lump sum of money. There's a total of $100,000. That includes any area patching we have to do, all line marking. There are a number of things that go into that, but yes, there's a total of $100,000 for those annual types of things that we do.
Can I make a amendment to
It hasn't been seconded, so.
the amendment?
Yes, I second
Yeah, you second. And you got it all.
Theoretically, procedurally, you can, but then you have to vote on the amendment,
Amendment.
then you have to vote on the amendment. I mean, it's okay, procedurally you can, it's just that you have
Better
to
just
vote
make an amendment
separately
if it goes down.
on each of them.
Okay, so we have an amendment to the original motion. We have to vote on the amendment first. All in favor of the amendment as stated, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Vote yes.
Sure, you can do it. Go back to the original.
So I move to amend the original amendment, or the original motion to strike that last line and fill it in with additional funding to come from general fund reserve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
How much is that for reserves? $323,000?
It's residual by definition, because we have to work out all the details. But it's estimated to be about that much.
325. But it's residual, so the math plays out on that particular.
Well, we have to get final construction.
Exactly, but that's true of any,
Yes, it is.
okay? So we have an amendment to the basic motion now. All in favor of that amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Fails by a 5-2. Right, so now that takes us to the original motion that trustee Maher made. That has a second, so all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Yay. Can I get that I'm not against funding alleys, that the reason that the NAGO is because I would like to find other ways besides bonding, because I don't want people to think, read a minute and think that my NAGO, I want to be clear about the NAGO instead.
Yeah, can I then add that for me too? Can
Well,
I
I'd
say
like-
why
yeah, I'd
I
like to-
voted yes? Sure.
Yes.
I
I mean, if
Can we all
people-
go
if
around
people-
and say why we voted?
If that's what we're asking, is that this be put in the minutes.
Put in the minutes, right?
And didn't we just have a policy? Wasn't there a discussion
Not yet.
in previous months about what minutes would and
Right.
would not include?
Not yet, not at the board level.
We started to have the conversation, it was brought up that the minutes are inadequate, and that our policy says that we take minutes. Robert's rules is clear, it says that minutes include what was done, not what was discussed, what action was taken. And there is the interest in being able to record more in the minutes. We haven't had the discussion yet, and I think we need to have the discussions about how thorough we do or do not, or to what extent we do or do not want to put more detail in our minutes, but we haven't had it yet.
I'm uncomfortable going around and getting everybody's comments right now, so. You have other vehicles for letting people know why you put in place. Okay?
Can we vote on that?
Yep.
No?
I think that's coming up on a future,
Future agenda, I think it's April.
yeah, and I think, you know, it can address the legal minimum standards for minutes versus how detailed we want to do, but that's probably a discussion for, you know, for a different meeting.
I mean, we would need to explain our vote if the minutes reflected the discussion. But since the minutes don't reflect discussion and just list votes, it becomes.
Well, that's, I mean, people run ads against their opponents all the time, saying they voted against,
Correct.
you know, funding little children, you know, and they voted against the bill because it had some weight, you know, rider on it for billions of dollars or something else. I think that's one of the reasons that they made the decision to pay for, start the videotaping as well.
Okay, we'll move on. Takes us to judiciary personnel and licensing, consideration of amendments to a human resources manual. Trustee McKay.
So what we have before us is approval of some changes made to the human resources manual. The memo outlines what they include. The first is combining village and library manuals. Because there's enough similarity to make it more consistent. I'll have Tyler learn more about that. Covers years of service for retired benefits, a change in vision insurance, door security at village hall, salary and merit pay policy, and then salary range assignments, which has the largest explanation. So basically that's kind of a housekeeping item where we have not been adjusting. Actually, I'm just going to have Tyler explain it because he's done such a great job. And the wellness policy and scorecards. We did all support coming out of the committee that review support these changes. And there will be some follow-up around the salary range after a market analysis. So we'll also ask Tyler to
add anything that you'd like since you
Sure. Thanks for having me come tonight. I'm not going to go through all the bullet points. I tried to be brief, and I think that's been in the board packet a few times now for you to review. Just know that every year, when it comes to the end of the year, I'll be doing a review of the HR manual, so this is going to be just a very annual thing that will occur at the end of the year. I mean, the major changes relate to the village and the library. With a lot of library employees, came a lot of questions as far as policies. Do you look at the library or the village manual? So administratively, we're just trying to consolidate so it's a lot clearer for them. And similar for the police department or, you know, DPW, if there's any exceptions that the library would occur, we spell that out in the manual. I did all those changes in a different font color so you can see specifically all those that are just library oriented. The only thing I'll spell out before questions too, because with pay ranges moving forward, this is going to be an annual thing. We would only update the pay